Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning. We have our coffees in hand.
Always.
Always have the Starbies. Is that the pistachio cream?
No, this is just a regular cold brew, and then I get the vanilla sweet cream foam on top. Um, I
Oh.
the pistachio. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't hit like I thought it would. To be honest,
What do you mean?
I don't
It
know.
is so good.
I mean, I'm a very, very big pistachio person, so I have very, very high standards for that.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it, but it's not my absolute favorite.
I was afraid to try it. I didn't think it would be good because
I don't like the hot one. Do you like the hot one?
I didn't try it.
Okay, I don't like the hot latte one.
Can you be a little bit closer?
Yes. Do I sound better now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
What about now?
How about now?
Now?
I think you look good and you sound good.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. I mean, coffee is right on par with today's topic. Because could you be a working mom without it?
No.
Me either.
Working moms run on coffee.
Any kind. Starbucks, Dunkin', homemade. I have some homemade stuff today.
I never make my own coffee. It's sad, but I don't. I waste money on coffee, but that's okay because, listen, we got to do what we got to do to get through the days.
Yeah, I mean, if you stopping at Starbucks on the way to work is what's going to get you through your shift for the day, that's just what you got to do. I work from home, which is a blessing and a curse. So I don't leave my house. So I guess I do to drop cash off at daycare, but it just takes too much longer. I'd have to wake up extra earlier. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. I don't know. So tell me, okay, do you like working from home? Is that like you love it or you hate it?
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I will never work in an office or in person.
Now, before you had cash, did you work in the office?
Yeah, so I worked in, I was actually selling cars in a dealership before I made the switch to my position I have now. So I have worked not from home before.
Okay. But you definitely prefer working at home. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's just, I'm a homebody to begin with. So I think you have to have the personality for it because it can be isolating.
See, I feel like I would struggle because I would get nothing done because I'd get distracted.
Yeah, you would think that, but I don't. I feel like I work more because I'm at home and have less distractions, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like we talk on Zoom and like Snapchat and text messages with my coworkers, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes I have to force myself to walk away from my computer because I'm so caught in the moment of working that I forget how much time passes. You know, because normally you'd have people like walking by saying hi.
Right.
Or you'd get up to like go to the bathroom and see somebody, but yeah, I feel like I struggle to step away, which when I was pregnant with Cash, I had to make reminders for myself to get up because I was in pain from sitting so much. I had really bad sciatic pain because I was sitting so long, and you know, your hips go through a lot of pressure when you're pregnant. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started going to the chiropractor, and they're like, make sure you're getting up and like stretching.
Yeah. See, I had the opposite because I'm mostly standing.
Yeah, you stand. Your hairdresser.
Yeah, so sorry. I'm a hairstylist, so I am constantly standing, other than when I'm doing nails or eyelashes. But, like, sometimes I'll be standing with a client for, like, 2 hours, and, like, you're in that one position. So it's not like you're walking and, like, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I had really bad, like, back and pelvic pain because I was constantly standing. And I was, you know, working like that up until I had Sadie.
Which is mind-blowing. I don't know how you did that. And you were so sick.
Well, yeah, at the beginning, I was so sick. I literally, and I didn't tell everyone right away, but I had to tell the girls I worked with because I would constantly have to walk away and, like, go to the bathroom and throw up. So
at that point, they probably caught on themselves.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to tell you before you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah, like, I was in the middle of an eyebrow wax the one day, and, like, that's like the shortest thing you can get done. Like, I was like, okay, just finish the other brow, Marlena. You can do it. I'm like taking deep breaths. And then I was like,
one more brow.
I'll be right back. And then I literally like went and threw up and like came back. I was like, sorry about that. And like, just, she had no idea what was going on.
Your client's just like, okay, that's
But I
weird.
was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And like the girls, I'd like give them looks like, can you come blow dry for me real quick?
Oh,
and,
there was like a look.
yeah,
They knew.
I'd be like, Liv, come here. So yeah, she'd like, switch me out real quick, and like I'd go throw up and then come back, and they're like, do you need like a few minutes? I'm like, I'm fine.
Once you get it out, you're good. I don't know, for me, when I was sick a lot too at the beginning, and I like I'm so grateful that I worked from home because I could be in my own bathroom and like nobody was there asking me like, Courtney, why is your head down on your desk? Like, what is wrong with you?
Right. Yeah, I definitely wish that I had like that. Like, I wish I was able to like work from home like during that beginning part, but clearly there's no way I can work from home.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, you have to start your own studio in your house. That
right.
would be a lot.
So, and then with real estate, it's nice because like I don't have to go into the office, and like I don't have to work like a 9 to 5. I can just do whatever I want like in my own time frame. So that is easy. Yeah. But yeah, I was so grateful after like those first few months passed, because then I started to feel good. But then it started to kick in the, oh my God, I'm in like all this pain because like I got huge. Yeah. So I was like so ready for that baby to come out, and like I was at work on Tuesday and I went into labor. My water broke on Wednesday. So
you worked right up to.
Yeah.
Did a lot of people ask you if you were going to not keep working until you had her? I feel like a lot of people asked me that, and I was like, I work from home, so it's not that big of a deal.
Here's where it got kind of tricky, because my original due date was the 9th, and then I went in and they switched it to the 22nd. So we were kind of going off the 22nd. So I was scheduling people up till maybe the 20th. But
that's another tricky part of your job is you are scheduling people. So and you like want to keep scheduling them when you're able to work. But.
Exactly. And when I call off, like I don't get paid. And then I'm stuck with, when do I fit these people in? And, like, some people are going to have to just go to someone else because, like, obviously if I can't accommodate them and they still need their hair done, like, someone else at the salon's going to do it, which I totally get. But so it's, like, it's so hard for me to call off. So I think I did, like, once during my pregnancy, and it was, like, a couple weeks before I had Sadie, and I was, like, dying. I was like, I cannot go in. So, but, yeah, it was a struggle for sure. But now that we're back to work, let's talk about that.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you about maternity leave, because you being a quote-unquote self-employed worker, were you given any? How did you do that?
So for real estate, I am like 100% like my own boss. Like I do everything like that. So I didn't really take off for maternity leave for that, but I also wasn't busy at that time, so it like worked out. Like I only had a few things going on that I could just
respond to emails or
and I could like step away here and there for a few hours to go like list a house or like do certain things like that.
I remember you were, I might have the timeline wrong, I feel like very early, a few weeks after having Sadie, and you're like going to show my first listing.
I was like, gotta go get pictures, like gotta go do all this stuff. So
I was like, dang girl, you're getting back in it already. But you have to hustle, because for that side of your career, that is very self-motivated. So
yes. So that I didn't really step aside from, but I also wasn't too busy, so it worked out. The hair, it's really tricky because like people aren't going to wait. Like, people need their hair done. They need their nails done. Like, I totally get that. So then it comes to the point, like, I'm off and, like, I can kind of choose how long I want to be off because, like, I don't have, like, a paid maternity leave. So the plan was 6 to 8 weeks. When I got pregnant, I told my boss, I'm thinking I'm going to take 4 weeks off and come back 1 day a week. And she was like, no, you're not. And I was like, oh, okay.
She's had children.
Yeah. She was like, no, you're not. I was like, oh, okay. So then being that I was scheduled off from the 20th and then I had her on the 8th, that was like an extra 2 weeks.
Right.
So then my boss was like, well, do you want to come back 2 weeks early? And I was like, yeah, no. I was like, sorry. So I actually ended up taking 10 weeks. Which in the grand scheme of things, definitely took a big hit with income,
Right.
but it's so worth it that I had all that time with Sadie. Like, I wouldn't take it back.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's tough.
It is tough. I mean, it's tough, when you're going back and forth. Like, I have my career and I have my clients. I don't want to lose my clients, but I will never get this time back with my baby. So, in the long run, I did choose my family. I took an extra few weeks. My clients understood,
Yeah.
They were accommodated by other stylists and, like, nail techs, which is awesome. Like, they were in good hands. So, I can't complain about that. And at the end of the day, they were all just happy to see me when I did come back.
Right. And luckily you have a husband who could help.
Yeah. So Brandon.
With income.
Yeah. Brandon had 3 weeks paternity leave paid, which was awesome. And then, he went back, and it's like, we aren't like too concerned about that I had to take a hit with the income because, he has a good job. I have 2 jobs. It's fine. And then I am lucky enough that I don't have to pay for daycare. Because,
that's huge.
Yeah. That is a huge, huge thing.
Because
it is outrageous.
It's expensive.
Yes. So my mom watches Sadie 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I work 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
She watches her on Tuesdays and Thursdays from like 10:30 to 6. Because I go into work at 10:30 and Brandon gets home about 6 o'clock. So it is a long day for her, but she loves it. And then Fridays, Brandon's grandma watches her. Well, every other Friday. And then Sam, our Sam that we love, with baby Mac, she watches Sadie on those other Fridays, which is awesome.
The cutest thing ever.
So I pay Sam, obviously.
Well, I mean, watching 2 babies.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
That's so funny. It's like she almost has twins because Mac and Sadie are days apart.
Yes,
so
2 days apart. So she watches both of them. It does help that Sadie and Mac are both pretty chill babies.
They are some of the chillest in the group. I mean,
yeah, definitely. So she's like, oh, it's great. They're like on opposite schedules right now. So Mac goes to sleep and then I feed Sadie. Then Sadie goes to sleep and Mac wakes up. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
I pray that stays for her. But
I know.
have a feeling when
it's like a Friday morning, I'm like, all right, Sadie, now you're going to be on your best behavior because you're going to be with Sam.
You're not going to be the only baby, so you have to be a little independent.
Yes.
Okay?
And Sam has a Bernese mountain dog, Louie, who loves Sadie. It's so cute. And then Black Cat. Black Cat loves Sadie too. Like, she'll send me pictures throughout the day. She'll be like, look, Sadie and Black Cat. Like, I love it.
I love that she sends you pictures.
I do too. Like, okay, so
we
everybody
all want that.
Everybody knows that I'm like a very like, go with the flow, like whatever. So like when I first brought Sadie over, she's like, all right, like what do I need to know about Sadie? And I'm like, she eats when she's hungry and she sleeps when she's tired. And she's like, she's like, she doesn't really have a schedule. I'm like, yeah, no. And she's like, okay. So then like I go and pick her up and like Sam is so cute and I love it. She's like, okay, so she ate at 9:30.
Writes it all down for you.
And then she took a little nap at like 9:45 and then she had a wet diaper at 10. I'm like, wow, Sam.
She's like a daycare. That's impressive.
She is. And I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. Like I don't even
keep track of that.
Yeah. So I'm like, wow, this is great.
Taking notes. Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I follow this schedule at home?
Seriously. So
they're still so young though. There really isn't. I mean, you can kind of like I call it a rhythm, but there's no like schedule.
Yeah.
Because they still, I think they say not until they're 5 or 6 months old is whenever
we're on their time.
Yes.
Like for right now. So
yes. One day you'll get them
a little
on
bit
your time.
Yes, a little bit
But
more in check with like
it'll always be their time. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm super lucky in that aspect because I know you pay for daycare, right? And
yes.
Katie pays for daycare and Izzy pays for daycare.
Yes.
That's all of you, right? As of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Kayla has people watching Ariella, but I don't know.
Yes. So she has
but
family. I have family. But yeah, I can't imagine because especially Katie, when she was, having all those issues with Dale and being in the hospital and everything and him being sick, she said that she had to pay, $1,200 and he only went 2 days.
For daycare, yeah.
Like, that is insane.
Yeah, most daycares, I mean, I know of a couple daycares that if you let them know far enough in advance, you don't have to pay for the day. But I mean, we pay ahead for the month.
Yeah.
Because we get a slight discount. And I was like, I will take anything. And we pretty much have to pay for every day, regardless if he goes anyways. So yeah, they usually will make
Which
you
for
pay.
me would suck, being that like if I worked 3 days a week but had to pay for like a whole week every time. So like I'm really grateful that I don't have to do that.
Yeah, or if say you happen to not have a very busy day.
Yeah.
And can, be done with work early.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, I cannot imagine having that extra expense like on top of
Craig and I
everything.
are always asking each other, where did our money go?
Right. Right.
What happened? Yep. Oh, a baby.
Yes, daycare,
childcare,
formula.
Oh my God, diapers. Yeah.
Diapers. Oh, like, I forget who I was talking to. My one friend. I'm like, oh, I'm making a Target run, and they were like, oh, like, I wish I could go to Target. And I'm like, no, like this isn't a fun Target run. Like I'm pretty sure I'm getting diapers, wipes, like more bottles, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, and that's like $100.
Yeah, I took my friend Carly and I went to Target one day and I bought a bunch of baby stuff, and she was like, I'm so glad that I came with you because I did not realize the expense, like how expensive babies are.
Yes.
And it's all at once at the beginning because they're in diapers for at least 2 years.
So I am still using my diapers for my shower, which is awesome.
You and Sam.
Yeah, me and Sam got so many diapers, so that is fantastic.
If you ever can't think of an idea of something a mom needs, diapers.
Like when everyone's like, oh, we don't really know what to get our babies for Christmas because, they don't really know. It's like, wrap up a big thing of diapers. They
wrap
don't
up
know.
those diapers. They don't care.
Yeah. And like for the moms, get us some diapers. Like, can't go wrong with that. Not going to be sad about that.
No, never. So how do you manage basically running your own schedules with work?
So
I know you think my way would be stressful, but I think your job is stressful because it's all on you and planning and scheduling. And
so yes, so at the salon I do somewhat have a set schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays 10:30 to 8 p.m. and then Fridays
it's a late night.
It is. We used to be open till 9. Thankfully we're open till 8 now, which honestly that hour is a huge difference. And then Fridays I used to work 9 to 5, and then since I had Sadie and went back, I changed it to 9 to 3. Okay. So yeah, it can get difficult because it is super long days. So like, you guys have definitely seen like how many times I've forgotten my pump when I go to work, and I'm like, shit. The other day I brought the top part of the pump and then I forgot the bottle. So I had to like makeshift like with a little bag, like a milk bag, and I like had to rubber band it around the top, and I'm like pumping, like literally no one is surprised when they come back and I'm literally just like half dressed pumping. They're just like, oh, hey, you're pumping again.
I mean, that's great. You work with all women, right?
Yes,
so
it is fantastic. So they're like not even phased anymore. But yeah, it works, but it's tricky because like, I also have to take into account that I want to get as many people in as I can, but I have to take breaks to eat and to hydrate and to pump, because when I don't, I'm like, oh, why is my milk supply suck? And I'm like, oh, because I didn't drink or eat anything all day. So I kind of have to plan a little bit more than I used to. But, sometimes, like the other day, I wasn't like super, super busy. So I did get to come in like a couple hours later, which was nice. But then, I get off at 8 and then I go home and most of the time feed Sadie and she goes right to bed. So then I'm like, oh, I miss my baby. But I am lucky that I get Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays off. I really can't complain.
That's true. That's a pretty good trade-off.
Yes. So I can't complain. And Brandon, he gets home at like 6, so then he spends the evening with her, and it works out. We make it work.
And then you have to fit in your real estate stuff.
Yeah, so real estate, I do all in between and around everything.
A little bit here, a little bit there.
Like sometimes Brandon will be like, who are you talking to at like 10 p.m.? I'm like, oh, like real estate clients or even hair clients. Like everyone's like, oh, I need to schedule what time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then sometimes, like, my evenings is when I get stuff done. So a lot of times,
The evenings that you aren't working at the salon, or
just in
well,
general.
I guess you said 10 p.m., so that would be
Yeah, in general, evenings is when I get stuff done, because during the day when I have Sadie, I'm not really getting stuff done. And then
yeah. Whoever thinks that, excuse me, oh my gosh, whoever thinks that it's easy to do things at home with a newer baby,
no,
you're wrong.
yeah, like
It's so hard to do just the simplest tasks.
right, and then you start them and nothing's ever finished because then they
Right.
wake up or then they get fussy and you gotta pick them up.
I can't tell you how many times I had to leave a sink full of dishes I was in the process of washing and then forget that I started them.
I'm not gonna lie, I have half done my makeup and had to go get her, and then I get to work and I'm like, oh my god, thank god I work at a salon that has makeup that I can finish it.
Remember that day?
I opened my Snapchat and went to snap everyone, and I looked at myself and I was like, oh my god, I'm halfway to work and I didn't finish my makeup. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, so believe me, you start something, nothing ever gets finished. But yeah, like nighttime when everyone goes to bed, that is like when I get stuff done. That is when I clean, and that is when I like do emails, or like a lot of times that's when I'll be writing up like real estate agreements and stuff, because that shit takes a long time. It's very tedious. Like, so.
And I feel like you have to be very, I don't know, alert kind of, because
I like
aren't you
triple check myself.
putting
because,
numbers
like,
and
yes.
yeah.
Like contracts that people are signing, everything, like you need to make sure everything is good, because then it's binding, and like you just have to make sure it's good. So, yeah.
So evenings are your best time. You are not a morning person.
No, I wish so badly I was a morning person.
I already know this about you,
but I am the worst. Like going to work at 10:30, that is like, I'm lucky I get to work at 10:30. Like by the time, like I'm like half delirious still when I wake up. Like it's bad. So like Fridays, especially when I have to drop Sadie off at Sam's house at like around 8ish in the morning, we struggle. I set my alarm for like 6:30, and I'm like,
do you get up at 6:30?
No. Are you kidding? No. I set like 4 alarms.
That's when I wake up.
Oh God, no. Yeah, so I still rush. I don't even know why. Like I'm still rushing all the time. So it's a struggle for sure. But luckily, you know, that's like
Do you do anything the night before to help?
I try.
I guess the days your mom comes to you.
No, so my mom lives in North Huntington. I live in Greensburg, and the salon's right in the middle. Oh. So I drive to the salon, and she meets me there. Oh. And we switch Sadie, and then she takes her to her house. And they mostly stay there all day, and Brandon swings by and gets her on his way home. Or if my stepdaughter, if we have her for the day, she gets off the bus at 4. So my mom will head back to my house at 3:30, get Riley off the bus, and then stay there until Brandon gets home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mom.
She's awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Marlena's mom.
Jeanette. Woohoo. We love you.
Jeanette.
Yeah, she's awesome. She loves being a grandma. I'm very blessed to have her like do as much as she does. But it's hard. But then like tell us about how you have your aunt watch Cash sometimes too.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to comment on is just the fact that you said you're a very go with the flow person. Your schedule stresses me out. The fact that every day is different. I remember we were talking about it before you got off maternity leave, and you're like, well, I think I want to have this person watch her like this Friday, and then this other person watch her the third Friday of every. And I'm like, that's too much changes.
Well, my mom is going on vacation next month.
Oh gosh.
You do not understand the amount of like stress and struggling that I went through to find people, because my whole family is going to Florida next month for a wedding. So everyone I know is away. And then like everyone
Hello?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, and then everyone I trust, it's like there's a very small window. So
what's that meme?
Oh,
the list of people I trust.
The list of people I trust is like a microscopic list.
With my baby.
Yes. So, so Sam picked up an extra day for me, which was awesome.
Nice.
And then my boss's mom, actually, she's awesome. So she's gonna watch Sadie the other 2 days. And my boss was like, it's just going to be like the Golden Girls. Like, her friends are probably all going to come over. And just like, I'm like, this is going to be fantastic. I love it. But yeah, it was so stressful. It's like things that, you know, Brandon doesn't have to think about that, like, I'm trying to plan.
Right.
And then, like, I texted my best friend's mom. I don't know.
The mental load of mom.
The mom brain. Like, I texted.
So real.
I was like,
it's
hey,
so real.
would you want to watch Sadie? And she was like, I totally thought she was retired. She was like, oh, I still work during the day. I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I was like, my bad. Yeah, she's like our neighbor. But I was like, oh God. But yeah. So
that's a lot.
It is chaotic when it's like changing all the time, like who has who what day, and you have to plan like a whole month in advance. But I make it work.
The pro to it is that you're having people watch her, and that's huge. That's really special that you can have that.
And Brandon's grandma drives the whole way from Indiana.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and that's on my early day, on Friday. So they get there at like 7:45.
Oh, she's probably been up since 4 a.m. or something.
Probably. Yeah, probably. So, her and his pap as well. They come, they spend the day, and it's so cute. They love it. Rusty, I think it's like his favorite days of the month because he just snuggles with them on the couch all day. It's fantastic. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my schedule is a lot different than that.
Yeah. Tell us about your schedule.
So before I even had cash, our preference was to have family watch him if we could. Because I feel like number one is if you could stay home. You know, that would be top choice.
Yes.
Second choice is if you can have close friends or family watch.
Yes.
It didn't work out that we could have full-time family members to help watch him full-time. So I started looking into daycares. And I know everybody says you better look early because there's wait lists. So I did this before. I don't even remember how far along I was. But everywhere I called or inquired to, they were like, well, we're full right now. You know, call us when it's closer to
Which is
time.
So, like, stressful because what if you're full closer to, like, you know, call back? It's like, well, what if you're still full? Then what? Then you're lost all that time that you could have been planning for something else. That's stressful.
Yeah. So then after I had him, it was on maternity leave. I was like, all right, I really need to figure this out. So I talked to my aunt. I knew that she was interested in watching him. She's had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom for her 2 children who are now grown and, you know, and one's in high school, one's in college. So we had a conversation about her availability and what she'd be comfortable with. And it kind of was a combination of what she was able to do and what daycares could do, because finding a daycare to only take you in a few days a week.
That's probably hard.
Yeah, most of them want a minimum. What is?
I don't know.
Our throat.
I don't know.
Are we okay?
We have
frogs
in our throats. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So once I started reaching out, asking, you know, what are the minimum days that you require? Most places were a full week, 5 days that they required you to have your child enrolled. So. And yeah, again, I dealt with the same thing. Oh, you know, we're on a wait list. And a lot of places wouldn't even tell me that they could put me on the wait list. They were just like, we're booked up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so my job, I got 8 weeks paid maternity leave, which was amazing.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah. And then I was able to take up to 12, but I would have to use my own vacation days before I think FMLA would kick in. And my days renewed in May, so right before I had cash, and they wouldn't renew again until this upcoming May. So I knew if I wanted to take that full time off, I would be stuck with no vacation days left.
Right.
And looking back, I've already had to call off a bunch for him being sick. We've taken a vacation. So yeah, I would have loved to take the full 12 off, but I knew that I would need.
So you took 8.
I took so from the time that I went into labor and 5 days, the maternity leave didn't kick in for 5 days after he was born. So I had to use my own days for that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know how that all works with like HR, but I had to use my own days for those first 5.
Okay.
And then I got 8 weeks after that. So it was about 9-ish weeks.
Okay, yeah, about 9 weeks.
Yeah. And then another great thing my job provides, which I honestly think every job should, if they're giving you maternity leave, they gave me a phase back period.
Mm-hmm.
So the first month that I went back to work, I worked my way up to 40 hours. So the first week I worked, actually it ended up being Labor Day week. So we had a paid holiday. So I think I worked like 8 hours or something like that. I think it was like
so
a total.
Nice to ease your way back into things.
Yes.
Because it's like, I mean, it's kind of like a shock going back and realizing, wow, like it's hard to do what I used to do on, you know, what little to no sleep. And, you know, your energy is different.
You have a whole other person to care for and get ready.
Mentally, you're, you know, not as focused on things you need to be because you're, you know, especially those first few weeks, like thinking about like, oh, like, is my baby okay without me? And like, you know, stuff like that. Or like, I need to pump. I know you struggled a lot working and you'd be pumping and, you know.
It's a lot.
It is.
To get used to. And when you're on maternity leave, again, I call it a rhythm, not a schedule.
Right.
You get into a rhythm with your baby, being home with them every day, right? You get your little routine. You wake up, they eat, take naps, and then you throw a mix in with work, and that's a whole new routine. Trying to get out the door at the right time, which I don't know about you, but the first couple times I had to leave the house, it was a struggle.
Plan an extra
Although I
half
guess
an
right
hour.
now it's still a struggle for you.
Listen,
so.
If it's morning, it's a struggle.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
I'll leave it at that. Like, even on
the mornings
maternity
are always
leave,
a struggle.
Maternity leave, I got myself around by maybe 11:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Because, I mean, first of all, I tried to go back to sleep. I'm like, Sadie, let's go. Like, come on. You're still tired. I know you are. Let's go back to sleep. But yeah, and then I'd get around, get my coffee, and then I'd, like, get moving for the day. But then it's like, okay, well, Riley's home from school by 4, so it's like, crap, I only have 4 hours to get stuff done. So I kind of, I don't know, don't set myself up for success being not a morning person, but some things just are never going to change.
Yeah, you just have to go with the flow of your personality too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very, I don't know, sporadic. Like, I'm a Gemini too, so like there are some certain things that I am very particular about, and then the other side of me, it's like shit's everywhere and going every which way. Like, you know, like I have 4,000 things going on.
You need to meet my mom. She's also a Gemini.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
Oh, you have met my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
You need to meet her more.
It is just wild sometimes. And I think it drives Brandon nuts sometimes because you know, he likes certain things a certain way and I like things a certain way. And it can be like as simple as like I have to clean the kitchen before I go to bed. But the living room can be a disaster. Like, you know, it makes no sense, but
I could see that.
In
you
my
know,
mind,
have clean
it does.
dishes to start the day with.
Yeah. So it's just, sometimes I'm just all over the place. But that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, it is what it is.
Yeah, you're not making any changes.
Right.
So, where was I at? Yeah, so we were getting into a rhythm on maternity leave. And my work provided this phase back period, which was really nice. It helped me ease back into it and figure out a routine for the day. And since it wasn't full time that whole month, I chose to not start him in daycare yet. And my aunt was nice enough to watch him those hours of that month. And at the end of the month, we went on vacation. So it wasn't even a full month. So that was nice. And I think I'm super glad that it worked out that way because as we talked about in previous episodes, we dealt with figuring out how much that Cash was not eating enough.
Yes.
And, you know, I said how she was kind of always hinting at it, like, Court, I think he needs more. And it's funny that you say that Sam would write down the schedule because she asked me what his schedule was, and I was like, I don't know. We just
when you're home, you don't really know. Like, oh, like, let me just feed him
I
again,
never paid
know?
attention to how often it was. I didn't write down the time. So she started to kind of jot some things down, and, you know, we eventually came to the conclusion that he needed to eat more. But I'm glad that he was with her during that period because he was very fussy.
Yes.
I mean, screaming.
Yes.
So I'm glad that he wasn't at daycare and they had to deal with that. But yeah, so that first month was phasing into it. And honestly, by the end of it, I was just super excited to get into a routine. I'm a very schedule person. I like to have like every day be kind of the same.
Yes.
To have a flow. So my aunt will watch him Mondays and Tuesdays. And it's the same time I start work by 8, and I work until about 4:30. And so I have him at my aunt's house by like 7:30. And same with daycare. So daycare is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But it's funny because my aunt's house, I can pretty much drop him off whenever. But daycare, we have these little tokens to scan in. So it's like a security system. And I had to let them know what time I would drop him off. This is the other thing that's kind of annoying. They asked what time I would drop him off, and I only get a 15-minute window to get him there.
I feel like they should just be like, you have to be here before 8 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 7:45, and if I'm past 7:45, they won't take him for the day. Or
so,
they
like,
have the option.
You can't drop him off at 7.
So that's the other thing. No, one day I was a little bit earlier on schedule, and I went to scan in, and it wouldn't let me in. I was like, weird, so I buzzed it. They buzzed me in. And I was telling the cash's teacher, I was like, yeah, it was so weird. It didn't let me in. And she looked at her phone or the time, and she was like, oh, it's 7:29. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. You can't come until 7:30.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I can. They'll buzz me in, but maybe a couple minutes. But I don't think I could just start randomly showing up at 7.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. If I wanted to change their schedule to that, I'm sure I could. And I get it. They want to make sure they have staff available. There's obviously rules with daycares and teacher to child ratio, and I think that's a huge thing to pay attention to when you're finding a daycare is what their ratio is, because there's maybe guidelines that like the law says, but which I don't even remember what it is, but so that was a big thing of ours to look for.
I mean, because personally you're not going to want to have one that's like, a super
the max amount, and they're stressed out.
You're going to want more of that one-on-one time if it's available.
Right.
So that's why I personally love that Sam watches Sadie, because like she's so good with like interacting like with them too. So like I can't wait till they're a little bit older and start like playing with each other and like getting that interaction, because when you're not at a daycare, like sometimes
that's the perk of a daycare.
Yeah, you worry that they're not going to get that socialization that they need. So I am excited for them to like start interacting more, because I forget, my brother was asking me, he's like, so what do they do together? And I was like, well, right now they kind of just lay there, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't play, like they I don't know,
barely notice each other now.
He's like, oh, like I'm like, yeah, you'll see when you have kids. But it's kind of funny.
Yeah, they don't start. I would say once Cash was about 5 to 6 months old is when he started to be more alert and even noticing the kids at daycare and paying attention to them, and it's so cute. Oh my gosh,
I love when them all together. Say how like he gets excited to see his friends
and his teacher. That makes me feel like we definitely chose a great place. When I drop him off in the mornings, he gets the biggest smile when he sees his teacher, and that just makes me feel good that he's in good hands, because it was very nerve-wracking to show up one day.
It's hard to leave your baby
with strangers, literally strangers. I mean, this is their job.
Yes.
And they have, the center has standards.
Yes.
And that's great. And it's a really great center. We love them. But it is still nerve-wracking, right? You're just like, here's my baby. Yes. I don't know you.
Right. Here's my most prized possession. The most important thing in the world to me.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it here with you for 8 hours.
Yeah. Never met you.
Right.
Yeah. It's
and like stressful. I did get a little stressed when I was like creeping up on going back to work, because I still hadn't found a set. Yeah, I didn't know my situation. Everyone kept asking me, and I'm like, I'll figure it out. And then it came down to it. I'm like, I really need to figure this out. So I had posted on Facebook like, hey, is there anyone interested in watching Sadie like twice a month? Like that's all I really needed.
Before you found Sam.
Right.
Or before you and Sam.
This is before I found Sam, because I didn't want to overwhelm his grandma with like driving once a week from Indiana. You know what I mean? Like I wanted her to enjoy it. So I was like, and don't be offended, because I will be picky. I literally put that in my status. I was like, I don't want to offend people, but like at the same time, I'm going to be very picky because.
And you should be.
I don't know. It stressed me out. But, and then Sam was like, I mean, I'm willing to give it a go with 2 babies if you are. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, obviously, if it gets too much, I'll like, go back to the drawing board. But like,
I mean, at this point,
for now, it's working.
Yeah.
So,
no, I love that.
Yeah.
I do. And I think that's super important for Sadie and Mac, because Sam stays at home with Mac, which I feel like that will deserve its own episode to talk about the stay-at-home mom life, because that is a job.
It is.
I don't know I always thought I would love to be a stay-at-home mom, but those first few months being home, I was like, this is a lot.
It can be the best thing, or it can be the worst thing, because you don't want to start resenting or like be like, I don't know. It's just when you
being
are
with your baby
24/7, 24/7, I'm
not gonna lie,
overwhelming.
Some days I'm excited to go to work.
Right. And I mean, that's
and
fine.
I still love my baby.
Yes.
But sometimes I'm like, all right, I have the day to myself.
And I say, if I was going to be a stay-at-home mom, I 100% would have to like have a schedule, because I don't run on a schedule normally when I have days off. I would need a schedule.
Because every day would just like mush together. Like it's the same day, which was maternity leave.
And then like it would end up that I wouldn't get stuff done. So like I would have to be like, all right, we're going to get up at 8 or whatever, and then it's like we gotta have a routine, because I struggle with that.
Yeah, which I would want Sam to come on and talk about.
Yes,
her,
because I feel like she does it very well, and I feel like Sam is always very calm and collected, which I kind of envy. I don't know. Yeah, she envies how I just like go with whatever, and I'm just like kind of like a spaz. But
maybe you guys could just like trade a little bit, of your personalities,
just give and take a little bit. But it's definitely a whirlwind figuring out
what works best for you, your baby, your family. It's in today's world, I don't feel like we're set up for one parent to stay at home anymore with the economy and just how everything's going. It just does not seem as feasible anymore to do it.
I feel like they kind of set you up for failure in that way, that like, oh, hey, like, yeah, I'm sure you'd love to stay home, but now you're going to be broke. And then, oh, yeah, you should definitely go back to work, but you're going to spend so much money on daycare that some people...
You're right. Yeah.
I've had some friends say, like, I really want to have a second kid, but I'm worried that I won't be able to afford daycare for 2 kids. So
one of your incomes ends up paying for somebody else to watch your baby.
And they say it would make more sense for me to quit my job and stay home than to be away from my baby and then spend all that money
for somebody else to watch your baby.
Right. So it is
tough.
a very...
And if we can't figure this out, we're just not going to keep populating the world. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If anyone knows how to fix that situation, go ahead and
maybe we should
DM
just all move
Pump and Dump
to
Europe.
So yeah, because I talked to you guys about a topic I brought up with my work. We do once a month. We bring a topic. It's called Continuing the Conversation. We just talk about a topic. And I brought up the maternity leave in the United States and comparing it to other countries.
The rest of the world, basically.
The rest of the world. Yep.
Yeah.
And I wish I had my phone handy to read all the different maternity leaves, but other countries are 52 weeks, like full years, more than a year, half a year. And then all the way at the bottom is the U.S., 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is the bare minimum for a woman to fully recover from birthing a human.
Right. And not all of that, for my job, like real estate, obviously, like I am my own boss. I don't get paid unless I work. And same with hair. So it's like I had to go from making a steady income to like dead stop.
Yep.
No money. And then you have to choose how much you want to take. But unfortunately, the U.S. is bare minimum, basically. And Sam's husband, Ryan, he gets 16 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's paid, too.
I'm pretty sure
16 weeks paid, and he can split it up if he wants. Now, he obviously doesn't work for an American-based company.
German.
Maybe. Sam,
correct us.
Yeah, let us know if we are wrong, but that's like incredible.
For a paternity leave.
Yes.
And that's the other thing too. I don't even know that there is a minimum paid paternity leave in the US.
I don't think there is. Like, I think if you get that, then it's like a bonus.
Because what do moms need most when they just have a baby?
Support from their significant other.
Yeah. And the dad needs to be able to form a connection with the baby just
Right.
as much.
Right.
And if they're just rushed back to work,
Mm-hmm.
it just causes so many problems.
Katie was saying that her husband had to go back to work, 2 days later?
Mm-hmm.
Like right when they were out of the hospital?
Him and Craig were too. Craig's also self-employed, so same situation with yours.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can take time off, but you're not going to make any money if you do. So it's
then you're
catch-22.
sacrificing your family in a different way.
Yeah, and he has clients the same way,
Yep.
but he has like projects that, like, he's working on people's kitchens that they don't have a kitchen for weeks. So he's like, kind of need to get that done. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, there just needs to be better support for women to have babies, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are going to keep the world going.
Literally. So. Yeah, we don't get enough credit, to be honest. We're pretty awesome.
I mean, I can't tell you how many other new moms I've talked to, and I've told them that I work a full-time job with Kat, on top of having a new baby, and they're just like, how do you do that?
I forget.
And I didn't realize how kind of uncommon it is for a mom to still be working full-time after having a baby. Yeah. Now that I'm like learning about people like you that have, a little shorter weeks with work, more flexible. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that it really isn't.
I forget who asked me. They were like, oh, so do you stay home? And I was like, no, I actually have 2 jobs. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I make it work. Like, it's not like 2 full-time jobs, but still.
You're balancing 2 careers on top of being a mom. Because being a mom is, I mean, the second I pick Cash up, it's, feeding him, doing it doesn't stop.
It never stops.
Right. So, yeah, it's, I mean, even like just going back to when I started going back to work, you deal with this whole other, like you talked about, kind of like mom guilt. Like, is my baby okay? Yep. What are they doing all day? Are they missing me? Are they wanting me and I'm not there? Like, it took about a month of that and to just get into like more of a routine. But now, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it just works for us. Yeah. And I'm, like I said, a very much schedule type person. So I like the whole, like, this is what time we get up. We get out the door at this time. I come back. It's crazy, but it just kind of keeps it going.
Everyone's going to be different, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to make it work what's best for them. So,
yeah. Yeah, and if you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, you're figuring it out for yourself and your baby, and all you can do is your best every day. And
that's right.
It's hard, but we do it. We figure it out because
I would love to hear what some of you guys do too. Like, totally message us and like say what you do and if it works for you or like what you struggle with even, because like I said, like we're here to troubleshoot and like
between all of us, we all have very unique. We have stay-at-home moms. We have
moms part-time. We have some people that are like Katie, who just switched it up, who went from being a teacher, who is now a stay-at-home mom, which is a whole nother episode.
Yes, I want her to talk about that experience. So.
Yes, so we're definitely here for help and
support, because we know it's not easy no matter what you decide to do. There's pros and cons with any options you go, daycare, no daycare, working, not working. It's
a lot. Yeah. But we're super excited to keep these episodes coming. Sorry that we have to miss some here and there, mom life. Mom life, sorry.
I was talking to my one coworker, hey Casey, if you're listening, and she was just loving up on our podcast, and I was like, yeah, we didn't get an episode out this week, and she was like, oh girl, you're a mom. Like, you put episodes out when you can put an episode out. I'm
right.
Like, you're right. Yes. We want to make it more, routine, because I'm sure there's some of you that look forward to it. I know I look forward to when they come out, even though I'm on them. But we appreciate your support. And, we'll do our best to keep new topics coming out.
Yeah, so looking forward to keeping it up. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
See ya.